Doma Sports Talk, worldwide, with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now some serious concussion. You're talking about some, a major fight, right? The biggest fight in boxing, I think we can all be in unison on this one when you're talking Terence Bud Crawford, undisputed three-division weight champion, and undisputed in one of the weights, and in his third weight division right now, raising hell against Van Helsing, Errol Spence, or Unbreakable, depending on how you want to say it. Errol Spence, undefeated, unified welterweight champion, right? And, he's been there a while. That's the only thing that I say, that he hasn't went up in weight yet. But this is the guy who is widely recognized as the best welterweight. And seeing as though welterweight is a glamour division, and he's been able to handle his business with these fights, not too many close fights, unless if you exclude, the only fight that was probably close with Errol Spence so far was the Sean Porter fight. I think he did well against Danny Garcia, which a lot of people can't say. He did well against Kell Brook, which was kind of close until, the stoppage. But, he's definitely the baddest one. He never had a chance to fight Keith Thurman, but let's be real. That wasn't Errol Spence's fault. You see what I'm saying? So Errol Spence is the baddest welterweight. Only because Terence Crawford has just come up there. Terence Crawford was the baddest lightweight and the baddest junior welterweight, so we'll give the other one to Spence until they fight. So everybody knows this is a good fight. People have been weighing in of late, and you have fractions, some on this side, some on that side, whatever. That's it. It is what it is when they fight. But at the end of the day, these are two guys. Whoever wins, it's just the best man win on this one. But what I want to say here is, I don't think there should be a rematch clause. Please don't have a rematch clause, right? Listen, these guys don't really need a rematch clause. Back in the day, or even recently, we consider rematch clauses kind of weak. Somebody always, on the top want a rematch clause, and because they basically think, well, shoot, I could probably get beat here, right? A rematch clause. I need a rematch just in case. Remember, right now, Anthony Joshua is having a rematch with Alexander Usyk, right? And actually, we don't really like the fact that he's having a rematch with Alexander Usyk, now do we? Because what is it stopping? A bigger fight, an undisputed fight at heavyweight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. So the rematch clause has gotten in the way in that one, right? Let's look at Devin Haney versus Kambosos. A rematch, right? Kambosos got beat by a landslide. Anthony Joshua got beat by a landslide, but they're getting rematches, right? But the rematches are in the way of what? Kambosos versus Haney is in the way of Haney versus Lomachenko, or Haney versus Tank Davis. Legacy fights or important fights. And I just going to get to my point. I think legacy fights, which are undisputed fights, or very, very super duper high profile fights, should be more significant. Should be the ones that we prefer instead of having these rematch clauses. I'll just say that right now. I think that these guys, when you're talking about Bud and Errol Spence, right? Let's be real, guys. Their paths. These are great fighters, and I just think when you're great like these guys are, their paths are going to cross again anyway. As far as Bud Crawford is concerned, everybody, he's fought at 147 pounds or 154 pounders anyway. Sean Porter's damn near 160 pounder. Jose Benavidez is a 154 pounder. He's about to fight 154 right now. Kavalikas and Kell Brook, huge 154 pounders, have to get down to 147, right? So these are, he's been fighting them anyway. So, and Bud said he's going up. Errol Spence is going up to 154. So I don't really think a rematch clause has to be there. The reason why is because the winner is going to probably want to do something very significant, especially if it's Bud Crawford, because he said it already. He wants to go to 154 and challenge for undisputed. Spence, on the other hand, wants to go to 154, but he's not going to fight Jermell Charlo. But, hey, if Tim Chu beats Jermell Charlo, then there's a significant, very high-profile fight there, revenge and all those good things. That's a possibility. But at the end of the day, we want to see legacy fights. You want to see stuff like that, rematches are cool and everything, but not to get in front of legacy fights. We want to see crazy stuff. We want to see, like, for example, just example, I'm talking Terence Crawford here. If he were to beat Spence, which is a real big if, right? But if he were, he'll be 2-division undisputed. And then he would want to fight the third guy to get the 3-division undisputed. He's talking about, you know, what he's trying to, you know, well, he ain't saying it loud, but he's trying to mess around and get up on that GOAT status. That's what he's up to. And I know that's what he's up to, but he just ain't going to say that, so I'll say it for him. So that's what he would be trying to do. So he wouldn't want a rematch to get in that. The dude's 34, right? And when it comes to Spence, he's going to do something. He wants to get undisputed and get the hell out of welterweight so he can go up to 154 and raise the hell that we know he's going to raise. But that doesn't, you know, we'd rather see if they fought again, we'd say, okay, hold up, let him do something else. You know what I mean? We wanted to see crazy stuff. Like, for example, Kobe Bryant's 81 points. Anybody watch that game back in the day? Awesome. You want to see stuff like that. 81 damn points, right? In one basketball game. And it wasn't all threes like nowadays. It wasn't all threes. Kobe's going to hole on your butt in a heartbeat. And his team was losing. They needed them threes till about the last 7 or 8 minutes in the game when it was like, okay, we winning the game now by about 10 or 11, but Kobe is already up into 60. We might as well let him go. And the reason why they did that, a lot of people don't realize, the baddest thing, the most awesome thing about Kobe Bryant's 81 points happened 3 weeks prior when he had 62 against the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks had everybody, including Dirk Nowitzki, but they were losing 62-61, right? No, they were losing by enough points, I think about 19 points in the third quarter, so he was taken out. He had 62 points and had a whole quarter to play, and he was taken out. I wouldn't have took him out until he got all the Laker records. So to come back 3 weeks later and to get 81 points shows that I would have got 81 3 weeks ago. But my coach took me out. I'm still mad at old boy about that. But anyway, bottom line is you want to see crazy stuff that happens. Right? Records to be broken. That's what you watch sports for. So you can go to the barbershop or the bar and talk smack. Did you see blah, blah, blah? That's what we rolling for. So we don't want a rematch clause to get in the way of these guys going to chase even more legacy. Because it's going to be legacy. The fight against Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford is a legacy, a super legacy fight already, as it is. But the next thing that they do after that, people are going to be paying attention. So that's why, hell no to a rematch clause. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.